Cutters, Degrassi, Unpopular Opinions. Hey there, Heather Holders. Jeff Cutter Diamond welcome you to another Cutter Degrassi Unpopular Opinion. And this one's number 187 in this series. So I'm getting close to 200. I know the topic I'm going to do for 200 and what I'm going to double down on. But I still have 13 more to work through. That would be easy. So anyway, the reason why I'm doing this, well, this video is about the school board is responsible for the downfall of Raditch and Simpson as much as they did themselves in. I posted this a week ago, and for context, it's being taped on February 20th, 2023. This thing. Now, of course, it sounded better in my head. So, bear with me. Okay. Oh, cool. They gave me the unpopular opinion / hot takes thing. Okay, anyway. We all know the serious blunders of Raditch and Simpson in their time as principal, but does it make much more sense when I tell you that it's possible the policies of the school board may have clouded their judgments? The main argument for Simpson is all the hoops he tries to jump through just to appease Mrs. Torres and keep his job. It seems like he probably normally would tell Audra where to go if she pressured him, or bleep off. Now I know the students betrayed his trust during Vegas night, but he may have gone overboard in punishing the kids just to save his job. Simpson had his good moments as principal, but I'm just saying that he became a shell of himself. And then, I studied more into the Raditch thing, and I said, in Raditch's case, is it possible that he may have had doubts about Rick coming back to school, but knew he had little choice given that no criminal charges or charges of any nature were pressed against Rick? I know that Raditch gets a ton of flack for letting Rick in without any questions, not calming the students' concerns down and leaving Rick high and dry at the end of things. But maybe he felt like he had to let Rick back in given what info he got / didn't get. Not to mention that Rick did not become straightforward in telling Raditch about Jimmy. He didn't word things right, and if he said the bullying happened, then Raditch would have had to take Rick more seriously. Don't forget, we're looking at many things through a 2023 lens, when in 2004 the storyline would have happened, and all of that. So anyway, so I actually did a couple of unpopular opinions about stuff to do with Raditch and Simpson. I believe, what one was it? There was one, 92. Well, unpopular opinion 92 was when I said Hollingsworth kids got lack of punishments due to their dad, I think. Because Snake, in a sense, didn't completely punish the Hollingsworths for all the kids for what their troubles. Miles for starting that fire that caused the commotion in season 14. In lieu of Degrassi nudes and all that. Hunter being allowed to come back to the school after he almost took a gun to the school to the dance and tried to get at Goldie and Maya, but Miles stopped him. And Frankie for a racist poster. And I said it's possible that Simpson didn't want to cross Hollingsworth's path as mayor because he was scared that Hollingsworth would probably destroy him or the school or something like that. And Hollingsworth promised a new wing to Degrassi, which is like, that's kind of nepotism. Would he have done that if he had no kids go to that school instead of 3? But of course, I say that Simpson was groveling to Hollingsworth because he grovels a lot. Simpson unfortunately groveled to Zoe's mom in season 13. Zoe cyber shamed Maya. Maya comes up with a song, and Zoe gets no punishment, whereas Maya gets booted and then is forced to go to the rubber room, which is stupid. It's like Snake is basically punishing Maya, not Zoe. I know Maya had a chance to probably go to the cops with everything, but Maya's mom told her that it's not worth it and all that. And Maya was upset. But of course, Zoe kind of hoodwinked everyone. And I guess Simpson, knowing that Zoe was an actress and knowing her mom could raise a stink, could probably have thought something bad. I don't think the school board would have got involved. It was more of a PR thing. But the problem is that, hopefully you can hear me. Sorry about the thing in the background. But anyway, what happens is that, Simpson had problems, especially with Audra, because Yeah, Audra was protecting her kids, and yes, Simpson screwed up in season 10, not helping Drew out when he was being chased by Riley or handling Adam's transgender thing and progression into Degrassi. I mean, Audra didn't really like Adam changing. I think in a sense she was trying to please her parents or something like that. I think she was trying to please people herself. Seems like an odd topic, but anyway, yeah, Simpson. A lot of people said Simpson was just basically based on paperwork and all that. And the simple fact is that, you know, Simpson probably had to work within the school board thing. I feel like the school board had some outdated policies. It's possible that Simpson's lack of involvement with the whole racist poster thing for Frankie in Next Class Season 2 / Season 16 could have been school board's policies too. Because after all, I mean, in a normal world, maybe Simpson probably would have done something about it. But the school board had these stupid, outdated policies. And, Tiny protecting Shay and Lola got 5-day suspension. And Simpson had to put it in. I think Simpson was worried about if he didn't follow the school board's policies that he was out the door. So, yeah, he was out the door in season 14 for the Degrassi Nudes thing. But they found out he couldn't do it. He had nothing to do with it, so they let him back. Right. So, to me, it's like, Simpson deserved better. In a way. Because, well, let's face it, Simpson should not have had to gravel. But, of course, people said that, Simpson had to follow the system and all that. And let's not forget Raditch, the guy I've devoted a lot of videos to about his hate should be lower. And one of the reasons why his hate should be lower, well, other than the fact that Rick was not straightforward. When you watch the episode, Rick was not as straightforward as you think. And Raditch is a concrete thinker. He listens to Rick, but he basically puts in the picture of what Rick is trying to say. And Rick never said that Jimmy had no qualms and doesn't want to be his friend. Okay. But you say, well, Jimmy should be bullying you. Raditch should have taken Rick seriously. Yes, but the problem with Raditch was that how Rick said it. I know you're probably thinking, oh, it's victim blaming. But no, if Rick was more straightforward to Raditch probably would have said, well, okay, next time I'll do something about it, but not this time. Or basically done something that time. I did a unpopular opinion number 105 on the school board's impact in season 4. In the simple fact that, maybe they had put the pressure on Raditch to let Rick back in the school, no questions asked. Because, the stuff. And, Raditch probably told some type of information, and maybe the police don't say anything because nothing was pressed against Rick, and Raditch has to go by that logic. I mean, everyone basically chats on Raditch for a simple reason. But to me, it's like, the school board had the impact on Raditch. Maybe their policies made Raditch look bad. I mean, after all, Raditch and Simpson were caring teachers. When they were teachers, they were good teachers. They were caring teachers. They were teachers that you like. Like, people liked Raditch as a teacher in junior high and Simpson as the media immersion teacher before he became principal in season 10. They were likable. But when they become principal, they become jaded and, they were less kid-friendly and more board-friendly, if you will. I don't know if that's the right verb, but whatever. But the fact, guys, is that the school board may have had something to do with it. I mean, maybe Raditch did have second thoughts about letting Rick back in the school after what happened. But, it's what he hears and what they tell him. And he has to make a judgment call on that. I mean, he could have easily told Rick to go to other school. Maybe he did. Maybe he said something to Rick saying that maybe Degrassi's not the best fit. But, it's up to Rick. And with no criminal charges, Raditch had no choice. If Rick had a criminal charge, easy. Raditch would have been probably left off the show for another reason. I mean, I know Deadwood's wanting to stop the show. But the fact of the matter is that I say that the school board had to reassign Raditch. I mean, they could have easily fired Raditch for all we know. But he said he was reassigned. He probably was telling the truth. And they say, well, the school board, it's hard to fire somebody. Whatever. But to me, it's got the fact that it's possible that Raditch was just reassigned because maybe the school board knew that if they fired Raditch, Raditch probably would have said something bad about the school board, and the school board's trying to cover their tracks. I know it doesn't sound right coming how I'm coming from my mouth and all that, but the fact of the matter is the school board had to have an impact, and this is not just for season 4. It's possible that it's the whole thing with Simpson as well. I mean, everyone complains about how bad Simpson and Raditch were as principals for just basically being good teachers, but then when they were principals, they were terrible. And of course, Rachel, in one of my Digressing on Popular Opinions, said something to the fact that Raditch was just trying to save his job. It was just all about paperwork. He was probably burned out, but he was just playing out the skit, and that makes so much sense. But that's the thing. The simple fact for me is that it's possible the school board put the policies through. I mean, look at season 4. It's not just Raditch, it's about Hatzalakos. Was Hatzalakos going to expel Spitter for what he did, doing the paint and feathers? It's possible she was, but she mentions that we have a zero tolerance policy. And in another unpopular opinion, I forget which one I did, I said that, there were issues with the zero tolerance policy. It's like, okay, the zero tolerance policy is there for season 4 and getting Spitter and Jay expelled, but where was this for season 5 when Peter did that topless video of Manny? And yet Hatzalakos knew because Hatzalakos is Peter's mom. Why the hell didn't she throw him out of school? And all that. That was just plain stupid. Like the zero tolerance policy, if it had existed in season 5, it would have been, Peter would have been gone. It would have been just like maybe a 1-episode wonder or something like that. But yeah, like with Simpson, I think in a sense that maybe Raditch and Simpson both were going to be better as principals. Maybe they both had great ideas about how to run the school and all that, but they let the school board get on their nerves. I know it doesn't sound good, but that's just how I feel. It's definitely an unpopular opinion because I'm like, the school board had to have the big impact on things. The school board's more villainous than you think. I mean, when I look at the Shep in season 8, in that episode Causing Commotion, when he gets Principal of the Year, I'm thinking to myself, how the hell is he Principal of the Year? Because A, it's early in the year, B, and possibly B, because, the school board wanted to give it for the previous year, but B, even though he was principal of Lakehurst before it burned to the crisp, he was not involved in the second half of the academic year, possibly, because he didn't go to Degrassi. Or possibly C is that Hatzalakos was going to win it, but since Hatzalakos took that leave, I thought she left for good, but she took that personal leave to go to Regina to deal with her mom. That, they were going to give it to Hatzalakos and they didn't want to redo the votes. And they probably thought Degrassi was due. So they gave it to Shep. I mean, maybe they might give it to Shep for the football team. I'm like, you create a football team and you get a Principal of the Year? Are you nuts? That's awkward. But yeah, I think the school board had a lot of impact on Raditch and Simpson and their behaviors. It also has Hatzalakos in a sense, and maybe the Shep and Pill. Well, yeah, but Pill was trying to please the school board, that she could play by the school board's rules and all that. She said Degrassi needs to be fixed. Okay, the cameras in the hallway would have been fine, but she put audio to try to spy on the students and try to see if she's doing a good job and try to be the caring principal they all want. There's nothing wrong with being a caring principal. It's just how you do it. And of course, the whole thing with Drew and the no affection policy. It's like, no affection policy? How's that leading to trouble? I still question the nap, as I call it. And, it actually worked out in a sense because Drew, Drew did it. Drew was going to obey Pill, and Audra prodded him to help Dallas with the prom after Dallas misbooks the prom vote. And, she basically says, I have to make an example out of you for everyone else. And I'm like, well, how many people who are going to Degrassi the next year would be in the graduation ceremony? Probably not a lot. But of course, the seniors get on her case saying, we love Drew and all that. And, Pill relents. And then she's off the show, and then guess who's back? Simpson. I think the school board was probably going to give give Simpson his job back after realizing he didn't have any New Jersey news. He was just clueless. But you also got to realize that, it's possible that, you know, Audra, knowing about Drew's thing, may have taken Pell's problems to the school board and they decided on that. Audra wasn't the main person in the school board. She was just one of the lower people and told her higher ups. So yeah, the school board is a villain in a sense. I think if they weren't so villainous to Simpson and Raditch, they probably would have been decent characters. But although they probably would have had a downfall anyway. So yeah, their downfalls are school board related and all that. They just were playing out the string. Kind of stupid, don't you think? Sucking up to all these people. It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Thanks for watching.